Hello everybody and welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, please press subscribe so you can see my videos and learn too. Alright, today we're going to talk about the simple present negative. I'll see you in a moment with the definition. Alright, the simple present. The simple present negative is made up of don't or doesn't plus the verb. All right? For example, she doesn't drink coffee and he doesn't like his job. Pause the video here, write everything down, and read it to yourself. Before we start, let's just quickly review the affirmative. I work, he works, she works, it works. We work, you work, they work. Live. I live, he lives, she lives, it lives. We live, you live, they live. And have. I have, he has, she has, it has. We have, you have, they have. Pause the video, write everything down, and read it to yourself. Okay, here is the negative form. So, it's the present simple plus the verb and in negative form. Alright? So, I'll read everything to you. I don't work. He doesn't work. She doesn't work. It doesn't work. We don't work. You don't work. They don't work. Next one is live. I don't live. He doesn't live. She doesn't live. It doesn't live. We don't live. You don't live. They don't live. Next verb, do. I don't do. He doesn't do. She doesn't do. It doesn't do. We don't do. You don't do. They don't do. And last, have. I don't have. He doesn't have. She doesn't have. It doesn't have. We don't have. You don't have. And they don't have. You can use don't or do not. So that's why I have do not for I, and then does not, and do not again down here. Alright? So pause the video, write everything down, and read it to yourself. Here are some examples using the words in sentences. I drink coffee, but I don't drink tea. Sue drinks tea, but she doesn't drink coffee. You don't work very hard. Pause the video and write everything down. Alright, here are even more sentences. This time I've underlined don't and the verb. I forgot on the last clip. I apologize. We don't watch TV very often. The weather is usually nice. It doesn't rain often. Matt and Nicole don't know many people. I don't like football. I don't like Josh. My car doesn't use much gas. Don't watch, doesn't rain, don't know, don't like, my car doesn't. Here's everything. Pause the camera, write everything down, and read it to yourself. All right, here are even more sentences. I'll read them to you. I don't like to wash my car. I don't do it very often. Sarah doesn't speak Spanish. Bill doesn't do his job very well. Maria doesn't usually have breakfast. Here, I've underlined the negative simple present plus the verb. So, don't like, don't do, doesn't speak, doesn't do, doesn't usually have. Pause the video, write everything down, and read it to yourself. All right, here is an exercise. Write the negative, don't and doesn't. I play the piano very well. Anna plays the piano very well. They know my phone number. Pause the video for a moment, write it down, and then we'll do the exercise together. Okay, great. So, let's make this into a negative. So I'm going to use I don't play the, let me make a better E, the piano very well. So my negative is I don't play the piano very well. Next sentence, Anna doesn't play the piano very well. So Anna plays the piano very well turns into Anna doesn't play the piano very well. That's supposed to be an E. There we go. They know my phone number is, turns into they don't know my phone number. Know my phone number. So, they don't know my phone number. Let me read this for you one more time. I play the piano very well. In negative is, I don't play the piano very well. Anna plays the piano very well. In negative, it's Anna doesn't play the piano very well. They know my phone number. And in negative, they don't know my phone number. All right, pause it, write it down, and read it, and make corrections if need be. Okay, here are more sentences that we can do using don't and doesn't. I'll read them for you. We work very hard. Mike has a car. You do the same thing always. Pause it, write everything down, and when you come back, we'll write everything in the negative together. Okay, great. So, we work very hard turns in to we don't work very hard. So, we don't work very hard. So, Mike has a car turns into Mike doesn't have a car, so Mike doesn't have a car. So you do the same thing always turns into you don't do the same thing always. You do the same thing always turns into you don't do the same thing always. Let me read it for you one more time. We work very hard. We don't work very hard in negatives. Mike has a car. In negative turns into Mike doesn't have a car. You do the same thing always. In negative turns into you don't do the same thing always. Pause it, write everything down, and see you in a moment. Okay, let's make sentence using I never or I don't very often. Watch TV, go to the theater, ride a bike. Pause it and write everything down. Okay, fantastic. So, watch TV turns into I never watch TV, and using I don't very often, so I don't watch TV very often. Okay, so I never watch TV. I don't watch TV very often. So let's do go to the theater. I never go to the theater, and then use I don't. I don't go to the theater very often. So, I never go to the theater. I don't go to the theater very often. So, ride a bike. I never ride a bike. And then use I don't. I don't ride a bike. So, I never ride a bike, and I don't ride a bike very often. Let me read everything one more time for you. So watch TV in negative turns into I never watch TV, and I don't watch TV very often. Go to the theater in negative turns into I never go to the theater, or I don't go to the theater very often. And ride a bike turns into I never ride a bike, or I don't ride a bike very often. Pause it, write it down, and make corrections if you need to. All right, here are even more sentences to practice with. Let me read it. Eat in restaurants, travel by train, travel by plane. Pause the video and write everything down. Alrighty, so let's use I never, so eat in restaurants turns into I never eat in restaurants. And then I don't, so I don't eat in restaurants very often. Okay, so eat in restaurants is I never eat in restaurants, and I don't eat in restaurants very often. So travel by train is I never travel by train. And then I don't travel by train very often. So, never travel by train is I never travel by train, and I don't travel by train very often. And then travel by plane is I never travel by plane, and then I don't travel by plane very All right, let me read everything. I never eat in restaurants. I don't eat in restaurants very often. So travel by train. I never travel by train. I don't travel by train very often. Travel by plane. I never travel by plane. I don't travel by plane very often. Pause it for a moment and write everything down. Okay, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our video for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you learned lots. So please press like and subscribe. Spread the word. I'm very grateful that you do. If you have any questions, leave them at the bottom. I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. Hope to see you soon, very soon, and happy learning.